Welcome back to Conjuror. Today we'll be looking at a deck I like to call Into the Void, and I was looking at it earlier and have edited it slightly from what it used to be by adding a couple of Wisdom of Dagra and Soul Eaters, because I thought, wow, actually the whole point in this deck is to create voids using our Void Hounds and limit the amount of creatures that the opposition can play. So in saying that, this deck has God Supports Me, Power Surge, Void, Dagra, Soul Eater, Wisdom of Dagra, Kill the Weak, Fire and Sword, Void Hound, Hammer of Thor, Swift Grogue, and Lord Victus. And basically the whole point in this deck is to create voids using your Void Hounds, limiting or removing their ability to cast creatures and attack through the voids using Void Hound. And the addition of Soul Eater will just allow you to use your Soul Eater to kill the voids you create, giving you the mana. So let's get into a game. Alrighty, so we've got a pretty good hand to start with. So we'll play a Void Hound straight up. And that should just put pressure on them early if they cast low cost creatures. So I'll attack their Lilith. That way, if they decide to attack a Void Hound and steal it, I'll create a void where Lilith used to be. So they're creating, think about using our Void Hound against us. But what they don't know is they're actually falling into our trap, because if they attack our Void Hound with their Void Hound, they'll create yet another void on their side of the field, and that removes 2 squares for them to cast creatures in. So they've actually played quite a few creatures this turn. So what we'll do is we'll use our Void just to block a Gorthog attack, and we'll play our Void Hound behind our other void, because of course from there Void Hound can attack anywhere, whereas they'll need to take down our void before they can actually attack our Void Hound. That means next turn we can use our Hammer of Thor to kill either Gorthog and then either Rogard or Dagra, depending on which one I decide to choose. Because Dagra is important for them to be able to draw more cards, and that's not really something we want them to do, so I'll place this void in front of these guys over here, use Hammer of Thor, and we'll kill off their Dagra. So next turn this void here should disappear, but by then we should have our Victus in play. See, having these voids is really good because it's actually preventing them from dealing 5 damage to me each turn. So we'll use our Victus and we'll attack. So there goes the voids. That leaves our Void Hound vulnerable. Fortunately for us, we've got our Lord Victus to recycle our Void Hound. However, there's a Mesmer coming in. So that's cool because we'll end a Dravron. Ouch. Well, we'll play our Soul Leader in behind our Victus, and we'll use our Wisdom of Dagra. That's probably a bad idea, but that's alright. So it'd be nice if I could get a Void Hound out, because we could use Void Hound to, well, we could use 2 Void Hounds to kill a Dravron. However, they've got 2 out now, so there's absolutely nothing else I can do. I'd need to have drawn a Hammer of Thor to actually be able to do anything. But we'll use Soul Leader to kill their Mesmer. We will place a Void Hound in front of the other Dravron, and we will use our Wisdom of Dagra. So we've got a God Supports Me. Not sure how well this will work, but hopefully it'll just keep us alive a little bit longer. So that deals some damage to Victus, giving us our cards back. Yeah, absolutely nothing I can do about that. So we'll make it quick and surrender, get straight into another game. I mean, this deck is more of a fun deck than a super serious deck. Expect to lose more than you win with this deck, but it's all part of it. Like, every now and then you just make a deck to have fun with. It's got an interesting mechanic, so you're like, why not? There's no point in being super serious 24/7. And that's basically what this deck is. It's a fun, I'm gonna mess around and enjoy myself, enjoy my gaming experience, and every now and then pull off combos that are ridiculous, such as turning all their cards into voids and then using your Void Hounds to attack the voids and maintain voids, which is essentially what happens if you attack a void with a Void Hound. You turn it into another void. So you can literally stack their graveyard with void after void after void, and if they've got a Victus out and you're just stacking their graveyard with voids and you attack their Victus, you're just gonna get another void on top of their deck. So this is fine because I'm going to turn that Berserker into a void, and then I'm going to play a Void Hound again. Basically the point in our voids is to either use as blockers to prevent their guys from attacking us, or to block, say, a Mesmer, meaning that Mesmer will use their ability on the void rather than the Void Hound, who is our main attacker. So see here, we can attack their void. I'm actually going to do that just to show you what happens. Watch the graveyard go up 1 card. And notice there's a void again. So that void's got another 3 turns before it disappears. So we'll play another void and another void hound. And now with the addition of Wisdom of Dagra in this deck, we can actually play it without having cards in our hand. However, we could also play it with, say, 2 voids in our hand, so they'll go on the bottom of our deck. So now they've got a rock golem. We'll use both voids to kill their rock golem and create another void. So here we go. Another void. We'll play another void in front of this void hound. We'll play another void hound. We'll buy a mana. So because they're relatively inexpensive, they've got decent attack and defense. They're pretty fun to use. So they've placed berserkers behind the voids, so we'll use our void hounds that are already damaged to attack their berserkers, and we'll attack their void. So now we've got another void on top of their deck. We'll use our power surge to play our other void hound and buy a mana. So as you see, now there's 4 areas in their play field that they can't actually use, and because we've got 3 void hounds out, we can then kill that rock golem. But first we'll use our God Supports Me to get that mana. We'll Wisdom of Dagra to draw some more cards. We've got a Cull the Weak, so we'll actually use that. It'll kill some of their voids, that's fine, but it also gets rid of their rock golem without us having to take any damage whatsoever. And we'll attack them for 12 and play a void. So we'll be able to do another 12 damage to them if they don't play anything this turn. So they've played another 2 berserkers, which I'll go 1-1 with void hounds. So they've used a slay weakling to kill a void. It's not anything to me. The voids are literally there taking up area on my play field. So that's fine, I don't mind. You can kill my voids all you want. So as you can see, our void hound can attack through, like if there was another void here, the void hound could attack directly onto their life points, because that's just what void hounds do. So there we go. Next turn we'll be able to do another 12 damage if they don't play a card here and here. But as you can see, this is how this deck operates. It runs on void hounds turning their creatures into voids, and it's entertaining, it's lighthearted. It's probably frustrating if you're on the receiving end of it, but I have fun. I'm not sure what the point in the flash of light was. Maybe next turn they'll play a fire and sword. So we drew a God Supports Me. Unfortunately our voids that were here have now disappeared. So I'll attack for 4. I'll attack their void and I will attack their berserker. I'll draw. So I've got a Wisdom of Dagra, cool. I will buy a mana, play our God Supports Me, and then use our Wisdom of Dagra. So we've got some more void hounds. I've got a void, cool. So we'll place that in front of our void that has the open shot at their hit points, because I have a feeling they might have a fire and sword or something like that. So at this point all they're able to do is play cards to protect their life total. So we're going to use our void hounds to just keep that line there, because they can't get rid of those voids except for using a Hammer of Thor on themselves. Now our Dagra is there to increase our draw, because as you can see with the cards that we're playing, when we've got quite a bit of mana, we end up with empty hand all the time, but we don't want that to happen. We want to keep our cards going. And now we've got a Berserker and a Dagger popping their heads up. So we'll use our weakened Voidhound, one of the two, to kill the Berserker. We'll use our other weakened Voidhound to kill this Voidhound here. That was interesting. Because they've killed our guys with our Fire and Sword, which I thought was coming a few turns ago, I'll use this guy here to kill that Berserker. I'll play another Voidhound, and I will kill that Void there. So making sure that we refresh our Voids all the time. And there's another Wisdom of Dagger. It's going to be helpful, so I'll play God Supports Me, buy the mana. So now we can't buy any more mana, we have to use God Supports Me to increase our mana pool. And the advantage of this is at all times we are in control of what gets through. So again, I could use both our Voidhounds to kill this Rock Golem, and then they can't use the Sewer Gator because it will be stuck behind one of their Voids. What I might do is just kill this Berserker and actually use our Voidhound to attack, putting them on 1 health. We'll play a Void in front of the Rock Golem and a Voidhound behind that, and we'll use our Wisdom of Dagger, see what we get. Cool, so we got another Void and another Voidhound, so we'll place them there, and we'll use our God Supports Me. So because these Voids here are there, they can't actually play anything to block me attacking through with my Void to kill them, which means that short of 2 Hammer of Thors or 2 Fire and Swords, there's nothing they can do to actually stop me winning the game. So there we go, their Voids disappeared just in time for us to deal the killing blow. So just for fun we'll kill off their Dagger and we'll kill off their Rock Golem and we'll attack them for the killing blow. So that's how this deck works, is have fun, create as many Voids as you possibly can, preventing the opposition from playing cards on the field. Remember, when you fill up all those spots on the field, it also decreases the instance cards they can play. I believe Fire and Sword can't be played, neither can Power Surge or God Supports Me. They can still play Hammer of Thor. I think every other spell can't actually be played. So if you fill up all the spaces with Voids and you can maintain them by using your Voidhound to attack those Voids, then you can essentially stop them from being able to do anything against you. Oh, there we go. Finally loaded. Okay, we've got first turn. Wow. Seems to have had a server error. And it's... Alright. Sometimes when it has a server error like that, it ends up being things like God Supports Me will stay on the field. In this case it seems to have just been a bit of server lag or something like that. That's alright. We'll play our Void Hound, our Void, and buy mana. Again, giving us the ability to basically kill any low health creature. We've got 6 mana for next turn if we want to drop a Hammer of Thor on a bigger creature. However, it doesn't seem like they're going to do that. They're going to play a Pack Rat. If they are playing a rat deck, they are severely underpowered for this deck, because rats will just get eaten by our Void Hounds. We'll turn them into voids, and of course that's going to prevent them from playing even more rats. However, they may have just had a rat in their deck. So they've used a fire and sword essentially to get rid of a void, because our Void Hound is still alive, and boom, we'll hit them for 4. We'll play another Void Hound. This way it protects this Void Hound here from getting hit by a couple of flash of lights or another fire and sword. There's a boss rat. So they've placed a boss rat behind a void, thinking it's going to be nice and safe over here. However, as we all know, a Void Hound can strike through the voids. So we'll use this Void Hound here to kill our boss rat because he's on the 1 health. And we'll use this Void Hound here to kill the Pack Rat because that'll leave him on 1 health. Now we'll use our Void to protect our Void Hound. And now we will buy a mana, use our Power Surge, because that'll give us 6 mana after we play our Wisdom of Dagra, just in case we get something. So we can actually use that spare mana to buy a card. We've already increased our mana for the turn, so we'll play The God Supports Me, and we'll actually play a Void in front of our other Void. The other reason rat decks might suffer against this, might have a hard time against this deck, is because you can play your free voids in front of their rats, essentially making their rats have to kill your voids before they can get anywhere. So we'll draw a card. And this is what we need the daggers for, because when you've got a couple of spells sitting in your hand, you need to be able to draw more cards. So hopefully they'll play a rat or something this turn, which will allow me to kill off this Void Hound essentially, and I'll play a Dagra where that Void Hound is. So they've placed a Quicksand behind their Void. I've played a Quicksand in the back row before, and it actually does nothing. It needs to be up front for it to do anything. So I'll use the Void to kill off the Null, and I'll play our Dagra behind the Void, even though it will disappear next turn. And we'll attack, we'll draw a card, we'll buy mana. There's our Soul Eater, that's what we've been waiting for. So we can use our Soul Eater to kill off voids, essentially. So they've used Hammer of Thor to kill off a Void Hound. Oh, now we've got 2 Soul Eaters, so we'll play both of them. We'll play both of our Soul Eaters, we'll play a Void Hound. We'll kill off their Pack Rat, and we'll move our Dagra behind safety. We could have attacked for 3 damage, however, we'll keep them alive. So they're going to use Slay Weakling to get to our Dagra, and they'll kill it off that way. So we've only got 1 Swift Grog in this deck, and we've managed to draw it. And the reason for the Swift Grog is to protect our other cards from quicksands by using their multiple attack in one turn. So they've placed 2 forest gnolls out in the open like this. That's bad for them, especially when I'm sitting there with 3 fire and swords. So I'll play one of our fire and swords. Our Salt Leader got weakened by that fire and sword they played. So we've been using Into the Void as you saw. You want to use your Void Hounds to basically cause as much havoc as possible and create voids and just have fun. You've got some Wisdom of Dagra and Dagra in there to increase your card draw. You've got some Cull the Weeks in there for protection against rock golems and quicksands. You've got a little bit of removal in there like Fire and Sword and the Hammer of Thors for your bigger creatures and for mass removal. And yeah, I mean, it's mostly just let's have fun. So this has been the Into the Void deck. I've been Lost One and you've been watching Conjuror. We look forward to seeing you next time.